printing money is bad, right? It's inflationary. But borrowing printed money is insane. That's why I drew that analogy. I guess it was 25 years ago. It was that, like a game of musical chairs, as long as the music doesn't stop, the game continues. But the moment the music stops, everyone dives for a chair. We all know what happens. And if there are not enough chairs, well, those that don't have chairs, they're out. In this case, out means you've lost everything. Whatever you thought you had on deposit in the banking system is gone. It is no longer there, and you don't have a chair, so you're left standing. Regardless of what you thought you had before, you may have even had your name on one of those chairs, and somebody jumped in it.
That's my chair.
Out. You're out.
So the question, of course, is, being the talk show host that I am, why would they stop the music?
Yeah, what's the fun in that?
Why would they?
Okay, so
could they be forced to?
I used to hear the argument that they would stop the music so that they could then go out and buy everyone's stuff.
Okay.
For pennies on the dollar.
Reasonable. Which is what they did in 1929.
That is what they did. And in 1907, and in 1893, and in 1873, and
that's what they do.
1838. I mean, that's
what they do.
If you study history,
that's what they do.
That's what they always did. They would corner the supply of gold or silver coin,
right,
make money short in supply, and then go out and buy the assets with the pile that they've accumulated.
They learned that in money school or something.
Money 101, right? Cornelius Vanderbilt taught that.
Yeah,
well,
they learned how to do that.
Indeed, they did, and this was the tried and true model. But along came this fiat currency with great abandon in 1945, and I hate to say that everything that anyone ever learned about economics before that, including how to say it, it goes out the window. It has no substance anymore because there is a dramatic change in the rules of the game. And the rules of the game prior to that, mute what would cause the music to stop? Well, simple. There are more debt obligations than there are money, than there is money. The ability to pay is gone.
Which is like there was now. That's what's going on right now.
Right.
Okay.
And these boom and bust cycles that we engaged in all throughout our monetary history were exactly like this. People get confident, they borrow, buy, and then somebody suddenly realizes, wait a minute, there's too much borrowed money and not enough money for everyone to pay, and then the panic starts.
AKA bubble.
And bust. Boom. And then all of a sudden everything plunges and plummets in value, and only things that you own were things that you could actually hold on to. And if it was borrowed, forget it, you're done. And if you were owed money, you get paid pennies on the dollar. This boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust. That is the way the waves that affected our economy. Well, along came John Maynard Keynes in the 30s and said, oh, no, we can do it better. Here's how. And this idea of fiat currency where there's no limit to how much actual money can be in circulation. That's what dramatically changed the game. And once we agreed to Bretton Woods in 1945, why, then the dollar became the linchpin. And then by 1971, we removed the gold that was the equivalent of the dollar. And voila, you have a worldwide reserve currency that is issued at the whim of a single institution on which every other currency is based. So, wow, what a beautiful system.
And the whole geopolitical model, like you talked about, is all based on that?
Of course.
With F-16s and protecting the dollar.
Yeah.
So that's the model. But so then back again, begs the question, why, to our insecure microphones, the Lloyd Blankman you just heard, why would he hear silence?
He wouldn't.
Okay.
He would not.
This is not going to happen.
There is no reason other than, a popular and mass uprising.
What do you mean? Why would the uprising cause the music to stop?
As any sound revolution would. The issuing authority loses its credibility, the government loses its credibility, and the people seize power.
Oh, you're talking about an
ugly revolution,
like a coup d'état.
A coup d'état, essentially, yeah.
One of those,
right?
Like 1776 stuff.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
There's no other way to stop the music.
They the music wouldn't stop because
I would argue it wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, they would still keep
Control.
They would still keep controlling the dollar,
banks and the money.
banks and the money.
Yeah.
But then nobody might want the dollar. And then you got a whole other scenario too.
That's
the other end of it. Yeah.
That's the real end of it. The loss of integrity of the currency unit.
Of course, the collapsitarians, what we've just talked about. That's what they talk about on the internet day in and day out.
They believe it.
They believe it. No, I know they really believe it.
They believe it. They don't
really
just
believe
talk
that
about
it could
Yeah.
happen. But on a scale of 10, what would you give it as 10 being the most confidence that it will happen?
Is there negative numbers?
Okay, so that's how confident that you are that it's not going to happen.
0 or less.
0. It's pretty confident.
Yeah.
That's pretty confident. Because?
Well, I mean, you spend 100 years building an institution that has effectively dominated the entire world. Why would you crash it? What the heck? How long would it take to rebuild such an entity? How many generations would have to go by before the people forget? It would. No way. It's far more profitable to simply create whatever money you need and buy anything you want. That works much better than the boom and bust cycles. They've figured that out. They can control their cycles as they've done rather nicely with this one. I mean, this one is going to be the textbook 20 years from now.
Andrew Gause and the Real World of Money with Patrick Timpone. Why, indeed. We'll be right back.